Greetings and greetings you all. Thank you for joining us again in this 5 minute spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ngor. And today in this 5 minute journey is about reflection because I've been asked two questions. Why you took this journey and this spiritual journey? What was the reason? And what is your motivational factor? The reason of taking this journey, I think, started long ago when I was a little boy, because I grew up in the religious household. My dad was a scholar, a well respected scholar in Islamic tradition. We pray, um, but for some reason, as a little child, um, when I start understanding what we were being taught, there was always something deep in my soul that could not resonate with. And I always have this emptiness, these questions. Why this, why this, why this? Something must be wrong. Something must be wrong with that, or something must be wrong with me. Why they believe it and I don't? Something must be wrong with it, or something must be wrong with me. So this basically was the question. Always a question that has been haunting me for a long time. After I was elected to the Hall of Fame, I achieved some recognition in my career. Then when I was elected to the Hall of Fame, I went back home. Then when I come back to the state, that's where I said, well, since this career, I got to this level, let me put more time, more dedication into the spiritual quest. Um, I started doing a lot of meditation, researching as well. I started doing some writing some notes. The beginning journey of the five elements, when I was start writing some notes about the dreams and ideas and so on and so forth. But my turning point to dedicate my effort on this was after 9/11, the terrorist attack in New York, when they were plotting the war in Iraq at the United Nations. That's where something happened. Because watching these world leaders revealing how the system they serve function plainly for all to see and understand, its injustice and its manipulation and its godly way, it caused a deep disturbance in my soul. Not just me, but many. Because there were mass protests in every part of the world by hundreds of thousands and millions of people coming out to be heard and seen, by seeing what unfolding and where it can lead to. See injustice revealing itself for all to see. With all the protests, they still went to war. Hundreds of thousands of people die, if it's not millions. Nation destroyed. Manifestation of injustice. Then you will be the question. What you do, where to go. Since the force of the mass is not enough to prevail toward the injustice, toward the system, because time again, people protest in this fashion way in many times, and the system always prevails, carry out its way. Because the mass is not formidable opponent with the system. I say what to do, where to go. If there anyone have a more authority or supreme authority over the system, that must be God. And it would keep you in a class course with God, asking that question. Where are you? Why are you watching? Why are you not doing anything? And that also reveals something very disturbing, because the very same people who serving this system, this evil injustice, evil system that exercise injusticeness in all level, in all matters, with no concern, no remorse. The very same people, the very same people you see on the church on Sunday, worshiping the God they believe in, praying to the God they believe in. The very same people you'll see at a mosque on Friday, praying, worshiping the God they believe in. The very same people you also go to the synagogue, so the devotion, claim to honor the covenant with the God they claim to believe in. Same people. Same people you'll see at the temples with their deities and see that moment as holy. But here they are in a political system exercising ultimate evil. And this also reveals a disturbing truth, because one cannot serve two masters. You cannot be serving God and serving the devil at the same time. You cannot be serving God and serving the devil at the same time. And what this reveals, the God they worship here, the God they claim to believe here, is the same God wannabe they serve here in the political system. And it is the same entity, God wannabe, who set up the cultural system with the arrogant mentality of superiority that set monarchy throne to elect. And people are, the word of people are measured, or the word of people determined by the what? The color of their skin or their status. That's what reality proven to be truth. A truth that is forbidden, a forbidden truth. A forbidden truth in the eye of the system, in the eye of the system, in the eye of a forbidden truth. When you speak out that truth in the religious sector, they will see you infidel or sinner. And their judgment is go to hell, and they probably, the one who will take the action to try to send you there. The government system will label you as a rebel, someone who's rebelling. Telling the truth for them is rebelling. Stating the fact, the truth, is rebelling. A system that's troubled by the truth cannot be a system of justice. A system that is threatened by the truth, the fact, factuality, a system that is threatened by the truth cannot be a system of justice. A system that is threatened by the truth cannot be a system of moral justice or divine system. Let's go to the same thing. A system that cannot accept or value that all souls are equal, that cannot be a system of the God who created them all. So this is what we all tells us. We know who's the architect of this district system that rule the world, give us the world we have. So the truth is not the truth is not hidden. So therefore, I see what I'm doing as my moral obligation, as a moral obligation. Not motivated. It's not about motivation, because I'm not trying to achieve anything. I'm not motivated to achieve anything. I'm not trying to achieve anything. is one who recognizes the sovereignty of their moral right, their moral sovereignty. And when you recognize your moral sovereignty, you will never, ever be silenced when toward injustice. Never. Just like millions and billions of people in the world who do that every day, all the time. Speak out against injustice. That's where after 9/11, that where when they went to Iraq, and that's basically trigger a depth of urgent anger. Something pushed me into that direction. I can say that something pushed me to that direction. The urge to. I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. Or just gathering thoughts. Like it was like a depth of urgent in my soul. That's something I need to do. Why? I don't know. I need to do. Because the depth of anger have to come out. The depth of something that was inside have to come out. And I was started able to express it to writing. Because speaking it was causing great disturbance in the family. I cannot speak 5 words without yelling. It was consuming me. Then when I was start writing, it became a method of relief. Now I can put it down without shouting about it to cause disturbance. Then I started writing. To a point, I saw the urgency, how important this can be. It's like I have these ideas inside that need to come out. Need to come out. I feel urgent that they need to come out. Then since my knowledge in the language English is at a very basic level of self-taught. I never went to school to learn English. Even when I was growing up in Africa, I didn't finish high school because I was not book smart. So my parents have to take me out of the school because I was not book smart, they said. So I had to go learn electrician and so here when I write a book and my French language, my French and English, neither one of them is at the level where I can I can express myself fluently. So, but I know what I want to say. I know what is there, how to get it out. So I was writing. The writing is very messy. So I started ask my wife and my son who was on 9th grade to help me out in the vocabulary in the English to try to just put in the structure. Then they was all start helping to a point where it's like the veil was open. In my conscience, I see what was that. It become urgent, something that I need to do. And here I can do it myself. I need help. So that demand of being assistant become toxic in the family because my wife is working. In the weekend, she probably she need time for herself. My kid going to school. After the weekend, it's like I wanted to make it as a family thing. Like everybody have to participate. Focus on what needs to come out. failed to realize that I was creating a toxic environment to a point they were they as my son testified later, it caused fear around him because even if they didn't want to do it, but they feel like they have to do it because if they don't do it, I will be upset. I will be yelling, and that was very true. I used to be triggered very easily. So this become very toxic, and that's raise the question also. Here I might try to see what can make a difference, a big difference, and here am I, this thing creating a toxic environment in my own family. Something I believe that it can create a positive change on a larger scale. Here am I, the same thing creating a negative reality in my own household. That created some confusion. But I know what is there have to come out. Then this go on for quite some time. I know I felt that my wife didn't want to help no more. My son didn't want to help no more because I'm waiting. I'm looking for the weekend, and the weekend come. They want to go to the beach. They want to go do something for themselves, which is reasonable. But always felt like I'm being abandoned, not being helped for what I asked them, what I need them with. I see it as a family affair. Not fair to realize at that time what I saw and what I know. They don't know and they didn't see and they can see. But I expect them to do. Since it's my kid, it's my wife, therefore they're supposed to help. I did not realize, I did not thought of if they want to help, but focus on they need to help. And that created a toxic environment where I get upset because I say, here my kid, they don't want to help. This is my wife, they don't want to help. And that basically was one of the reasons I separated with the family, or the family was dismantled, so to speak. One of the saddest moment in my life. I went through a lot, but that was the saddest moment in my life. One day my son came late. Came late. I know the reason. Maybe let me hang out a little bit because if I go, I'm going to be working with dad, which I can understand. I probably would do the same. Many will do the same too. Because wife go to work, come home, home is work. Children go to school, they come home, home is the school, another school. That was the issue, putting a pressure. What I need to do myself, putting pressure on others, which I realized later. Because that evening, my son came home late, didn't call. I was upset. He said he went with his friend for practice. I said, you should be practice, and I got very upset. See? And he feels scared. The next day, here am I with my two young ones. The door opened, my wife walking with two police officers. I said, hey, she's going to take the kids. They're gonna leave. They're gonna leave. I said, leave where? What is this? They said, well, my son, my older son, got scared, and they're not safe around me, because my wife talked to my in-law, who's not a big fan of me, which I know is always someone who's thought that I was not the right choice for whatever the reason. Talked on the propaganda, and that was the day my family, that the family I thought I could not live without, will die for it, was being dismantled. The saddest moment in my entire life. My younger son and daughter are crying, they don't want to leave, and my son grabbed my leg and um, was tough. But they put him away, and there it was. And I walk out the door, and back, take a few stuff and walk out. And while went to when looking to this side to go, I look, see my son, and they still cry. My son looking at me, and we look at each other. That was the worst moment of my life. Because here am I thinking that I'm doing the right thing for, not just for them, but for others. And this doing the right thing cost me what I love the most. See? That night I cry a lot. I cried, I cried with confusion, um, not know what just happened. Asking myself, what just happened? What I treasure in this life the most is just taken away from me, or it's been dismantled. I still in shock, cannot believe what just happened. That night was the was rough. Uh, and looking at my situation, um, here my, because it was an arrangement for me to do my work, take care of the kid, take him to school, do all the things that need to be do in the house, and my wife works, so I can do my work, a balance, so to speak. My martial arts, I was teaching, but when I put more time on work, I started teaching, so I was basically home doing writing and taking care of the kids and so on, whatever else needed to be taken care of. I thought that was the perfect balance for everything, a perfect balance. And So when my wife took the kids, here am I, with not $1 in my name. I faced three situations, three elements. And each element is is to every one of these three elements is a force of its own that's earned respect to deal with. Three forces, three challenges. One is the family. Your family that you treasure is just being dismantled. The first challenge, the first force to be reckoned with. The question how to rebuild this, how to put this back together. Then you facing the cause, the reason. Now you have to do this on your own. My knowledge of the language, again, is at a very basic level of self-taught. And you see that this needs to be done. And you have to do it. This is the second force to be reckoned with, second challenge. The third challenge was, now you have no money, you have to get a job, and able to take care of things. So you face these three elements. I say, okay, send the priority right now is to get a job because I have $1 in my name. I have the food I left in the refrigerator and the 2 months rent, 1 month deposit and 1 month first month deposit and 1 month security rent. So basically, I have 2 months, just 2 months there in that apartment. Those 2 months, I say, okay, I have 2 months here. I make arrangement with the landlord that in 2 months I'm gonna be staying here 2 months. So I have 2 months to assess the whole situation, to know what to do from here. Okay. Then go find a job. I start to go looking. That become challenge of his own. Going for a teaching job in gym, no luck. Yeah, end up doing construction, working as a construction job. I said, okay, I got a job, construction, so this can maintain something, can buy food and so on and so forth for the 2 months. Then take it from there. The writing, yeah man. 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, going to it, 2 weeks. For some reason, everything that was written, everything wiped out. Everything that was in the computer. The disk I saved, for some unknown reason, everything wiped out, vanished. I thought things could not get any worse. But it's like there was a force that told me you're not even on the starting point yet. It's like, yeah, it's gonna get a whole lot worse. And yes, it did. Everything was wiped out. It's like the heaven is testing me, or the underworld is trying to break me. What is this? But it's like a revelation just come to light. So, well, it's your job, it's your task, it's your duty. You do it on your own, by yourself. It's your task to do, nobody else's. You don't give your job to somebody else to do it for you. It's your, if you want to do it, it's given to you. I know I have it in me. I know what needs to come out. The question was, sent. I cannot write it in French because my French is not good. No, my English is, I never went to school, is in a level where I can do it on my own. Now this become a task. I have to start all over again. To start all over again on my own, first of all, you have to go to learn the language. You have to go study. You have to go to school. Growing up, go to school. My idea, that's what I did. So I went to the library, studying, going to bookstore, picking up books, try to do the best I can, try to learn, try to read, learn how to read and do study. I'm at the library all the time. Go to bookstores. My first time and the only shoplifting was shoplifting book. I think 4 times. Because I needed them, I couldn't afford it, and I shoplifted and I took them with me. 4 times. Then later I returned them. But in my mind, try to justify it, to ease the guilt, or since I don't have the money and this need to come out, I'm borrowing it. Now that was a shoplifting a book, because the urgent necessary for doing something. Then that's how I start all over again. Start all over again. 5 elements. That's the story. Beginning story of the 5 elements. I start again on my own. Because it was my task. My task alone. And try to drag the family to it. I realized that that was the reason the family to be dismantled. It was initiation of separation. Thus I can do this on my own. Because it's not their task, it's not their job. It was mine. And I was making it theirs. So the separation was necessary. The separation was necessary. Then he got the letter of custody. Child custody. The moment you think that, okay, you balancing things, things can get worse from here, and they just plunging, getting worse and worse. I went to court back and forward. I will fight to the last ounces of my breath for my kid. I end up being sent to parenting program, anger management program. I tell me, any program you send me, I'll take it. Any program, all of it, the humiliation, we call in the spiritual world the humiliation ritual. Then after the 2 months, I think I have to leave the apartment because you might have to pay child support with the very little I make. I have to study, to write a book. I want to go fighting my kids. 3 tasks, and each one is an opponent to be reckoned with. What you do? One thing, you keep fighting. And it's like when you're drowning. The underworld is pulling you down. The above heaven pushing you down to get used to the water. The heaven pushing you down to be used to the struggle. And the underworld is dragging you down to drown you. The moment you come up to grasp some air, you go right back with two slide you between two forces. And you keep saying to yourself, no, 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 you're not dying. You're not gonna drown. Your story is not gonna end here. It's not how your story ends. It's not how your story will end. You're not gonna drown. You'll fight. You're not dying here. The more you go down, you say it's not where your story ends. You come up, you go back down, it's not where your story ends. That's what you believe. You're not dying here. You're not gonna drown. I keep fighting, keep fighting. That was rough part. Then after 2 months, I had to live in my car because I cannot afford an apartment. Making very minimum to able to survive. You need to write this and need to go going to go back and forward. I live in my car. I live in my car for 7 years. 7 years live in my car. To finish this, 7 years live in my car. Go to libraries, malls, laundromats, that open 24/7. And many events, many things have happened during this 7 years period living in my car. I know what being homeless, what that feel like. 7 years where you don't have the necessity or the comfort that was seemingly required to do what you are called to do or what you desire to do, and you have no choice but to keep moving. There's 3 events that happened that was very significant. Happened in the mall, Queens Mall, Sunday. I was there all the time. Because that's where I used to, after I need electricity to use my computer, because the battery was weak and the battery ended up dying. The battery was no longer effective, so I need electricity. And 3 events happened in that mall that still resonate with me in this journey. There was these kids. I was sitting there in the mall in the food court where the opening area, and these kids, they always come there after school and just causing a lot of disturbance and just it's so disrespectful. I'm here typing, just focus on doing this, and all of a sudden I saw this kid. They throw a bottle, a cup, a big cup, water ice. They just dropping on my computer and just laughing and running from the second floor. I look at them and I just ran. I run the escalator so fast. I know if I catch these kids, that will be the end of this journey, because I would throw them down from there. I know that would be an invisible doubt. That anger I felt that moment, I would have thrown them fall from the front. I would have called, I would, this would be the end of this journey. But I couldn't catch up with them. Then another event was when the manager told me that I cannot use the outlet because this is a private mall. I cannot use the outlet. I see the noise. I cannot use the outlet because it's private mall. I said, what you mean? Everybody, many people using the outlet. Why not me? I said, and he just they're telling me, giving me long lecture. And there was this it's a janitor, the one who the cleaner. This old man just come just unplug my computer from the outlet and the computer because I had no battery. I almost that's another event I almost did something really horrible. But always something is like something is testing me. I start. Then the third event that the contrast of this horrible experience. It's like when you go to the mall, they have the people who give you who walk around to give you some tests of the food. One of the guy who just do that now. For 3 days, I call it my fasting days because I didn't get my paycheck yet, and for 3 days I was eating very not so healthy. Go to 99 cents or get those cheap and just to keep myself. Then this man, out of the blue, bring a whole plate with water. I thought it was mistaken. I said, I didn't order anything. He said, I know, it's for you. Out of the blue. Seriously? I said, yeah. I said, oh, thank you. When I was eating, he come back and gave with a small cup of ice cream. All of a sudden, all the experience, all the anger, all the experience that I experienced previous in that mall, that act overrides them all. That act of kindness from that man. Because I used to go and expect something bad gonna happen, and when happen, something bad might happen. Am I praying? I hope nobody do something stupid for me to do something stupid. Every time I go. Now, this one act of this man just changed the whole dynamic, shift mindset. Wherever there's evil, good is right there waiting to be given the chance. Or good is right there waiting to change the whole dynamic. And good, one good can change all of it. This man have taught me something so powerful. That act automatically. I left the mall. I cry when I get to my car. When I got to my car, that one act erased all the darkness that was there, and all the bad expectation that was there. Everything just gone for one act of kindness from a stranger. And the funny part is, the next day, I went. I said, "Thank you so much for what you did. It means a lot." He said, no problem. I mean, no problem. I see you all the time. And I feel very bad for what those kids did last time. I didn't know he was what. So, then, 2 days later, when I went back, he was not there no more. For a week, I didn't see him. He was not there. And I asked, what's the man who's... He said the man, he moved. He moved to, they say he moved to another state. He's not here no more. I said, that man probably was my angel, guardian angel, because he have done something that's so profound in my journey. this journey have been a blessing because all the 7 years living my car, I learned so much that gave me different perspective toward life itself. I understood myself better. Um, and realized that as well when you are given something to do, what is your job to do? If other volunteer to help, you can express gratitude, but you should not condemn them for not helping. They have to help while they free will. I understand it now. The pressure that causes so much toxic in the family just for the urge of one to be helped for something that I had to do on my own. I realized that after it was done. I went to study to get it done. That's why if you read the five elements is at the very basic level of understanding. It's not too fancy. I think even a second grader can understand what it's saying because it's not written in a fancy method. A simple one to understand because that was my level of understanding and my perspective of expressing my what I want to say or see to say. So that's basically was the journey of the five elements to become at this stage. I know there will be a few need to be done to be published, but it's online. What is done is online. Everything that was there to be said is already said, and some I elaborated on like videos and some online posts to keep up the journey because I see as a moral obligation, my moral obligation to exercise and express my moral sovereignty toward injusticeness and toward which be my contribution, doing my part, my personal part to the collective, my personal part to the collective. There's no why anymore. The whys are already taken off. Now it's how I become objective, how I become purpose now. It's no longer why you're doing this. It's a purpose, you need to do this, not why. The why is no longer important. Even when you have objective, when you have a dream, you're gonna go to a point where those why have to be the brackets that guide you to keep moving have to be taken off. It's like the metaphor of a seed. The seed have a shell. Now the shell is the comfort zone of the seed. When the seed is on the ground, the shell have to break open. Because the shell was there as a comfort to protect it. But when it's planted, now the seed have objective. The objective, the bracket, the comfort zone have to be rotten. The seed have to face the darkness. Now, the seed have to know you have to come out. Because I don't like the darkness, I need to go to the light. The why you need to go to the light? Why you shouldn't be here? Because I don't like to hear. I need to go out because I must be out there. Now, what's can be dangerous about the whys when the why remain there, because you can be comfortable with the why, because the cell inside the cell is dark also. It's just in a different darkness. And if you get used to the darkness as you used to the shell, you will never come out. The darkness becomes your comfort zone. That's why some seed will never break through to see the light. Because as they used to the comfort of the darkness of the shell, that becomes the reality of the darkness of the soul, of the soil. So these seeds are destined to doom in the darkness, will never see their full potential because they get comfortable with the darkness. That's why the why have to be taken off. When the why is not there, you have only one objective. That's where objective come to play. And I don't like the darkness. I wanna see the light. Now, when you seeing the light become unreachable or exhausting, that can also be the reason to be comfortable with the darkness. The why. It's not worth the trouble. It's not worth the struggle. Just then you will find a way to find comfort in your situation. Because the why is unreachable. It's no longer worthy the effort. So darkness become your unpleasant reality. You don't like it, but you see no other choice. You don't like it, you see no other choice but to deal with it. Because to reach there, you see it beyond your reach or not worth the trouble. So that's the danger between the whys. Why are you doing this? However, when the whys is no longer relevant, it's no longer there. When the objective is to just go out because you need to go out. So it doesn't matter. The darkness is no longer reality. You have one objective: to go out by all means. That's why you see, even in the concrete, in the crack of concrete, you see some flower come out in the concrete. Or concrete, not a soil, concrete, they break through. Because they was destined to blossom. They were destined to come to see the light. Even concrete will not be able to stop them, let alone talk about soil. They know their purpose, they know their destiny, they know where they need to be. And they know they have what it takes in them to get there. And know that knowing of who they are, that what you need. Not the why I do this, why I need to do it, but no. The knowing of what you are capable of. When you know what you are capable of, you will be unstoppable thought, and it's just like that tiny seed break through the concrete to come out to be seen through the light. It's about knowing. It's not about the why. It's about knowing what you are capable of. Not the reason why you're doing this, but knowing what you are capable of. That's what was element that guide me through this. Know that this have to come out. I have to be done. Why I no longer care about the why, how and why I no longer care. It has to be done. Do whatever you need to do to get it done. Go to the library, study, stay there all day, do whatever you need to do. It has to be done. One objective, not two elements that create confusion in your head. How I'm going to do this, why I'm doing this. You're debating with your own self. But with the objective have to be done, period, there's no debating factor. Because one person does not argue with oneself. When you argue with yourself, that means maybe something is wrong there. But two people, yeah, they can argue. That's why when you have objective, only way you're gonna argue with yourself is like when you crash, when you go insane. This sometimes can happen. I come close few times. That will happen. Try to deal with these three elements. See? Try to juggle life, handle life, the task of life. That can crush you. That's why when you see homeless people on the street, you'll understand. You'll understand. See? Don't judge. Don't judge them. Don't judge them so fast. Don't judge them so fast. You see people homeless on the street, don't judge them too fast. Don't. See? Family issue also is very tricky. Very tricky. I've been to it. Go to court, fighting with custody, go to parenting class and anger management, all for the sake of to keep my family. Very difficult. Very difficult. With the system that designed to function in its own way. That is not at the favor of the strengthening the family household. Dealing with this also was a great task and a blessing. You asked to write a book in a language that your understanding is at a very basic level. Basic level, meaning self-taught, just communicate self-taught. So what kept me going, what kept me going is the element I just got knowing. I know it can be done. I know it can be done and it shall be done. That's it. It will be done. The word is done, 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 done. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Why? You don't care. When? You don't care. How? You don't care. One thing, get it done. Whatever it takes. Long it takes. Whatever you have to go through. What objective? Get it done, 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 done. That's your objective. Become your mantra. Become your religion. Become your belief system. You start it, you get it done. You want it, you get it done. Get it done, get it done, get it done. So I'm into the journey, and the journey is done. When your time here is done. And hope the next generation will take it from there. Do their part. And everyone will do their part as well. In their own way, own unique way. Just like many who are already doing it. It can be done on a personal level, local level, global level. Get it done. Anyone with moral conscience, you shall never silence. Totally justiceless. It's your moral sovereignty to exercise as a moral right, as a moral obligation, so to speak. So I think I'm going to leave it here at this point as the journey continues. Thank you again, and God bless you.